Hi, it's Dwyer. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Today is April the 22nd, 2019. Let's discuss Terence Crawford's victory over Amir Khan. But remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now let me just say, I've looked at a few of the recaps here online. Obviously, I saw the fight. I don't get it. I'm missing something here. Right? To the gamblers, I would have been much happier if Amir Khan had won the fight. I would have gotten almost 7-1 odds. But as it was, the hedge held with rounds to spare. Crawford got the stoppage. Right? But understand, this fight wasn't a mismatch. Wasn't close to a mismatch. Quite frankly, the Shakur Stevenson fight was more of a mismatch, was more one-sided than the Terence Crawford fight was. Right? Let me just say, round one, the fight's competitive. Fight's competitive. Looks to me like Khan is in the running to win round one until he gets knocked down. Right? Certainly he loses the round. He barely survives it. It's a 10-8 round, no question about it. Bad start for him. Khan loses round two. But understand, the fight wasn't a mismatch. Khan is very much in the fight. There's an open question, even now, on whether Crawford can handle Khan's speed. Khan blows the spacing in the first round, doesn't he? We just saw a fight, Clarissa Shields against Christina Hammer, where Clarissa Shields comes out in the first round and she's taking her time figuring out the angles. Now, you're Amir Khan. You have the better legs than Terence Crawford. Folks, I believe that today. Post-fight, I believe that. You have the better legs than Terence Crawford. Right? Why not dance around like Ali did the first round against Liston, that first fight, just to see the lay of the land? If you have the superior legs, don't you want a dynamic where Terence Crawford's on his front foot, trying to find you, where you're dancing around the ring, seeing how he's coming at you? Instead, rewatch the first round. Amir Khan, it's something in his DNA. It's just how he's programmed. Amir Khan in that first round is coming forward. It's Terence Crawford who's on his back foot. How's that even possible? So, of course, if you're Amir Khan and your chin isn't the best, it's been dented before, right? Breedis Prescott, Danny Garcia, Saul Alvarez, right? You've been hit on the chin and have had problems in the past. What are you doing coming forward to such an extent that Terence Crawford is able to land a counter right hook? His dominant hand, and it's a hook. Power shot. Khan should never have been that close. As it was before the shot that knocks him down in the first round, Khan's holding his own. Well, I thought Khan won the third round. Right? You know, they come out for the third round. Khan at this point has cleared his head a bit. One judge didn't give Khan any round. Right? The other two did give Khan a round. I thought Khan won the third round. Now we get to the fourth round. Crawford, masterful, starts going to the body. Looks good, starts breaking down. Amir Khan, okay, fine. Khan's not doing the spacing the right way. Khan's trading too much. Again, if you have the superior legs and you have a good jab, how's the other guy even reaching your body that early? We saw another fight recently. Errol Spence against Mikey Garcia. Didn't it take Mikey Garcia a number of rounds? And I know he won the second round of that fight. But didn't it take him a number of rounds to get as close to Errol Spence as Crawford is to Amir Khan by the fourth round? But even with all that, I want to direct people to the end of the fifth round. Understand there, Khan jumps in and lands some shots. So I know there are people online here who are saying, oh, this fight was a mismatch. It shouldn't have been made. What fight were they watching? Khan's losing the fight. Make no mistake about that. But understand, Khan's not beaten down in the first round. The first round is a right hook that knocks him down in a round, arguably, Khan's winning until the knockdown. He's not getting methodically beaten up in the first round. I would argue after the third round, he's only down by 2 rounds. Right? First round's a 10-8. Third round negates the second round. Let's talk about the last round of the fight. Here again, let's get real. I don't even get Crawford, who should be bashful at this point, saying, hey, you quit. When's the last time a guy throws an obvious low blow? Obvious low blow, a hard low blow. And then is upset that the other guy can't continue. Crawford's acting like the end of the fight happened legitimately. Folks, there's an illegal punch at the end of the fight. Right? If a guy's going to talk smack about the other guy quitting, do it legally. You don't hit a guy low or hit a guy with a rabbit punch and then say, hey, he was looking for a way out. You gave him the way out. And so don't get me wrong. I'm a big Crawford fan, as longtime subscribers here know. I've picked Crawford in numerous fights. Crawford's delivered for me in numerous fights. But watching this fight, I didn't see the big mismatch even after Khan gets dropped in the first round and does get his body riddled in what I thought was the best work of the fight in rounds 4 and 5. Right? Let me just say this too. I'm guessing a lot of the men watching this video have gotten hit inadvertently in their private parts before. Right? Understand boxing rules. All of us understand that the family jewels are so vulnerable that the rules allow you to have 5 minutes. In a sport where a round is 3 minutes, they allow you to have a round plus 2 minutes. Because everyone understands that when you get hit there sometimes, life ain't the same. You're not really able to move that well. Now, it's unfortunate how the whole thing fell out. But Amir Khan, by his own admission, said that he'd said to his cornerman, Virgil Hunter, he said, man, I don't feel well, right? 2 minutes later, he said, hey, look, it's not getting better. Now, if you were on the Amir Khan side of the ledger, and I was hoping because of the odds that Khan would pull the upset, right? As I said, I was hedged. It's okay for me. But I was hoping Khan would pull the upset. You understood the only way he was going to be able to do that was by using movement and speed. Right? Take away the movement from him, and you understood he was in danger. So his cornerman, after talking to him, right, the two guys have communication. The stoppage isn't haphazard, right? The corner's actually talking to the fighter, who's talking back to the cornerman. The cornerman realizes, okay, my guy can't move. We're going to pull the plug on the fight. Right? Amir Khan's 32. He's not 42. Folks, he certainly had the hand speed advantage on Terence Crawford. He did land some flush shots in the fight, including shots at the end of the 5th round. Let me also say, too, he makes an adjustment. You actually see it toward the end of the 5th round, where Khan starts running in behind right hands. Right? He lands flush on Crawford. It's clear Khan's going to try some move where he just runs in on Terence Crawford. By the way, that's what Christopher Diaz should have done against Shakur Stevenson. Gave Stevenson too much space in that fight. Well, let me just say, Crawford hits Khan low for a reason. I'm not saying he does it intentionally. He could have been aiming, for his solar plexus or something. But Crawford understood that he had to take away Khan's legs. The punch is an illegal punch. Right? He really took away Khan's legs to the point where Khan couldn't continue. Fight fans shouldn't feel that this was a fighter looking for a way out. Right? If he's looking for a way out, he could have stayed on the canvas in the 1st round, couldn't he have? If he's looking for a way out, he doesn't need to be hit in the private parts to get a way out. Right? He's clearly shaking his right hand. Something's clearly wrong with Khan's hand. He could have quietly bowed out in the corner, said, hey, my hand's broken. Or, hey, my hand's bothering me. And then relied on the medical report to give him political cover after the fight. Now, I believe what happened here was Terence Crawford was the better fighter. Terence Crawford did knock Khan down. Khan didn't fight the fight with the right spacing. Khan didn't take advantage of obvious opportunities. For example, Crawford drops his hands at times and starts going like this, right? Folks, I don't like that. Understand, I know it might look good to fans. You're moving your hands like this. But an astute opponent can figure out, okay, his hands are up here. When he starts moving his hands down, that's my opportunity to throw a combination up top. Right? You move your hands rhythmically in some manner that doesn't translate into increased effectiveness. And your opponent could use that for cues on when to punch. I didn't think Crawford, who I saw get hit flush multiple times in this fight, who looked lost in the 1st round until the knockdown, I didn't think Crawford was at his best in this fight. Right? Khan, of course, wasn't at his best in this fight because he needs to figure out that you need to pace yourself over a fight when you have a hand speed and a foot speed advantage and you have 12 rounds. There's no reason why you can't be patient in the 1st round. Claressa Shields, who didn't have a hand speed or a foot speed advantage against Christina Hammer, figured out in the 1st round she needed to be conservative to figure out the lay of the land. Folks, you could pick almost any fight from Bernard Hopkins' career, and you're going to notice that Hopkins in the 1st round of fights is figuring out the lay of the land. If you have the foot speed advantage, why not just dance around Crawford? Have Crawford look for you. Then as Crawford's coming forward, you can pick your spot and you can come in dictating length. Come in at the right angle, hit Crawford in a way where he's not close enough. Isn't that the problem here? He's not close enough to throw a counter right hook. Right? As I said, Errol Spence kept Mikey Garcia far away from him for at least the first 7 rounds. Right? Amir Khan should have tried to be more like Spence was against Mikey than the aggressive fighter he was here, where he gets in trouble getting too close to Terence Crawford. Let's also discuss the odds, because it's important. Right? The odds matter. Understand, it's my core philosophy that if 2 world-class fighters fight 10 times, there are going to be some fights where the underdog wins if they're truly world-class. And understand, these 2 guys are truly world-class. Right? Both men have beaten many contenders. Right? I personally consider Amir Khan's victory over Devin Alexander to be a classic. That's a great fight. Even the guy Amir Khan beat in his last fight, Sammy Vargas, is a rough and tumble cagey veteran. So I know right now it's obvious to everyone. Oh, Terence Crawford, the prohibitive favorite. The prohibitive favorite won the fight. Okay, great. Understand, if you believe, as I do, quite frankly, that if these guys fought 10 times, Amir Khan wins at least 2 times. At least 2 times. Then the odds should be 5-1. Not 7-1. In other words, you're getting compelling value. Revisit this fight. If, in the first round, Khan doesn't get foolish and get close enough to Crawford where Crawford's able to land a right hook. If Khan wins the first round instead, folks, that's a 3-round swing. Instead of it being 10-8 for Crawford, that would have been 10-9 for Khan. Right? I'm just telling you, in the 5th round, I'm not saying Khan won the 5th round, even on my scorecard. Crawford wins the 5th round, right? On my scorecard, Crawford 10-8, first round. Crawford wins the 2nd round. Khan the 3rd round. Crawford the 4th and 5th rounds. So I had Crawford ahead. But again, this is prize fighting. They had 12 rounds. You're not even halfway through the fight. Right? You're not halfway through the fight. You couldn't score the 6th round because the low blow happened so early. Right? And so my point is simply this. Khan, who catches Crawford flush at the end of the 5th round. What do I mean by flush? Here's Crawford's face. Here's Khan's punch. Revisit that round. And understand, Khan has power. Right? Khan's dropped many people. Many people. All I'm saying is, with the second half of the fight, even in this fight, where Khan's not fighting the right fight, in the second half of the fight, a lot of things could happen. Quite frankly, I had Kell Brook ahead of Errol Spence several rounds into the fight. And then Errol Spence asserted himself in the second half of that fight. Folks, that's the way boxing is. So please, enough of this mismatch stuff. This fight wasn't a mismatch. Terence Crawford wins the fight, okay, fair enough. But Crawford himself needs to figure out that you can't accuse a guy of not telling the truth when the fight ends on a low blow by you. That's simply ridiculous. Right? If the fight were more competitive, I could easily see a sanctioning body saying, hey, you guys need to do this again. We didn't like the way this fight ends on a foul. Also, for the people who say, oh, Khan's bluffing and stuff like that, you obviously have never been hitting your private parts. I know Khan had more time to recover, right? But I'm just telling you, 2 minutes into the 5-minute period, Khan still felt miserable. So, the hedge held. I congratulate Terence Crawford. But the concerns I had about Crawford handling a guy with faster hand speed, those remain. Right? I still have doubts about whether Crawford beats Manny Pacquiao. Let me just say this too. The odds matter. Right? If Crawford were, let's say, even money, or were a 2-1 favorite over Amir Khan, okay, I would have taken Crawford just outright. Right? If Crawford decides to fight Manny Pacquiao, right? Pacquiao's a big name. Pacquiao's an older fighter. These younger guys need to realize that if they want to fight the older fighter, they need to do so now. Older fighters have less time left in the game than younger guys. Right? If Crawford signs to fight Manny Pacquiao and the fight goes off at 7-1 odds, you need to take Pacquiao. You need to ask yourself whether Pacquiao would be as easy to find as Amir Khan was in this fight. I was a little bit surprised by how easy it was for Crawford to hit Amir Khan in the body. Good luck doing that with Manny Pacquiao. Right? Understand too, Pacquiao is more of a master at spacing and being sudden. Right? I don't think Pacquiao would put himself in a position in the first round to get hit by a counter right hook like Amir Khan did. Right? There are other wrinkles. Obviously, Pacquiao's a southpaw, which would be interesting. Right? I got the feeling looking at this fight that Crawford does better right-handed than he does out of a southpaw stance. Right? So, to sum up, the overwhelming favorite won the fight. One of boxing's absolute best. Right? Absolute best. Delivered. No question about it. He did so from the first round when he got the knockdown. Throughout the fight. I congratulate Terence Crawford. But I believe the fight was a competitive fight. I think Amir Khan never quite got into his game, started to figure things out, then got hit with a low blow. I don't consider this match to be a mismatch. I still feel that Crawford, who's a craftsman, right, might have a problem against guys with top-line speed, like a Manny Pacquiao. Right? And no, I don't believe that Khan was looking for a way out. I've seen Khan in some grueling fights. Right? The Marcus Maidana fight, where he's hurt and he's trying to stay away from Maidana. The Lamont Peterson fight, where he's fighting in Peterson's backyard and it's rough and tumble. Right? I saw nothing in this fight that suggested that it was more rough and tumble than those fights. I think fight fans everywhere need to realize that getting hit in your private parts is a serious deal. Right? Some guys recover within 5 minutes. Some guys don't. Right? I don't think Khan threw the fight. I don't think Khan needed the payday and decided he was going to lay down. Forget it. Right? I think he got hit with a low blow and he understood, look, I can't continue. Right? It's unfortunate it happened in this fight. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this video. Let me also say this too. When I made my pre-fight video, I thought, you know what, if this fight goes the distance, my feeling was, Khan would probably be ahead on the scorecards. Right? I envisioned that Khan would jump out to a lead. I'll concede here that that scenario did not play out. Don't get me wrong. The hedge that I suggested of Crawford by KO delivered for you. Right? Let us off the hook. But I did understand, watching the fight, that if Khan improved and was able to stay upright, there was a distinct possibility that Crawford was going to absolutely dominate on the scorecards. Right? I'll concede that point. It's okay. It's a hypothetical because the hedge held. Anyway, that's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this video. Let me say, too, that Manny Pacquiao, Crawford, if that fight goes the distance, and I'm mentioning Pacquiao because he has hand speed commensurate with Amir Khan. Right? If that fight goes the distance, I'd be surprised if Pacquiao isn't ahead on the scorecard. But I am going to have to look at this film a little bit more to figure out if there's a possibility that Crawford, who is a master, who has won many decisions, but who's also won fights by stoppage. He stops Jeff Horn. He stops Benavidez, for example, although he's ahead on the scorecards against Benavidez. Right, let's just say Pacquiao against Crawford, I'm going to have to think about a little bit more. But I just got the feeling, looking at this fight, that Crawford had to wait for Khan to make mistakes before he asserted himself. Right? If Khan doesn't get too close to him and too front foot heavy in that first round, I think Crawford would have been pushed a little bit on the scorecard. One man's opinion. Let me hear yours. I look forward to reading your comments. Thanks for stopping by.